Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
Hello everybody, got another Barlow to show you, and today it is by Frost Cutlery. You can kind of tell that right away because, well, Jim Frost's signature right there on the shield, and we can kind of guess that that is a bomb shield. Black enamel paint over nickel silver, and you see the outline of the bomb including the fins there. So yeah, that is definitely a bomb shield. That's not like a flattened squirrel or something like that. And then according to the description, is the handle material is honeybone. They didn't mention what the jigging style is on there, but I would refer to that as a worm groove. You could also call it like Winter Bottom. Winter Bottom was a company that basically did worm groove jigging on all their bone that they sent out. It was very popular with Quinn Cutlery and several other cutleries that used bone coming from the Winter Bottom factory, and this was the jigging style they usually did. And really this is supposed to be imitating a stag, and that's why when you see something very similar to this being used by Case, it's often referred to as 6.5 bone stag. Well, other companies just refer to it as worm groove. That's kind of the generic term for it. Seeing how this is not from the Winter Bottom factory, I would refer to this more as a worm groove bone. And I would say this is worm groove honey bone because, well, they said it was honey bone. So there you go. In any case, the full number for this is the EX-002-HB. And it is the Excelsior series Barlow. Now, I believe this is actually the second Excelsior series. I think the first Excelsior series was in a red jig bone, and they might have had more than just two series with it. And these were often sold as a set on Cutlery Corner. I'm not exactly sure how many knives were in the series, but I would gather that it was probably about 8. The only one I have is the Barlow here. There's a couple other that are pretty cool, but the prices on them these days is kind of high. I think when they were first sold, the series were probably going for, like one of those things where there's 8 knives in the series and you could get them all for $50 or something. So, they're selling them for $7.62 a piece or something like that. And then they showed up on the secondary market for like $15 or so, but they're already going for higher than that. So, and the series has been long gone. Well, you can probably guess because, well, Jim Frost's signature there. And that is the big draw to it, is the fact that it has the Jim Frost bomb shield on there. However, these are really well made Barlows. And what I like about them is the squared off top on there, compared to a Rough Rider rounded Barlow. You can kind of see the difference there. I really like the squared top on the Barlow over the rounded one for a number of reasons. But the big one is I just think it looks better. This one also is, if you can tell, is not nearly as bulbous as the Rough Rider Barlow. Notice this one is a much wider girth to the handle than this one does. It's a very slim line Barlow going on, and it's also got a longer bolster when you look at it, which gives you the impression that it's a smaller knife than it really is. It comes in right at right at 3 3/8 inches, which is the same length as most of the Rough Rider Barlows too. So 3 3/8 inches. Blades are set up in that fashion that a lot of people don't like, where the main blade is behind the front blade, and they claim they can't get to the nail nick. I can get to the nail nick with no problem. And it comes with a really nice mirror polish blade. The only problem with these knives is I do not know what the blade steel is. It doesn't even say German steel on these. It just says China on the back. I don't know if they're 440A or if they are 420. My guess is 420 because they did not specify. They just said surgical stainless steel. That was what they were calling them back in the day. And yeah, a little bit of a effort on the pull there. We see here, let's see that tang stamp. Excelsior series with 5 stars underneath. On the backside, nothing. And then on the main blade, we see the Jim Frost signature, and on the backside, China. There we go. So, all in all, you can see here the construction is really well done. Not a lot of gapping or anything. You got wonderful brass liners, stainless steel back springs, brass pins. The jigging on the bone is really nice. I have grown to really appreciate worm groove jigging. I just really like it. Used to not like it at all, but it grew on me. And you can see there a little bit of gap there. That might be shrinkage over the years. I don't know. These are, I don't believe they're still around. Maybe they are. I can picture them being a warehouse find one of these days on Cutlery Corner Network, and they offering them again because they are really well made. Absolutely no jigging in that blade, or wiggle in that blade. Let me put it that way. There's also no jigging in the blade. But anyway, the blade locks up really nice. Action is a little sloppy right now, but I think that's just from age and that I have not done anything with it. But there's no rubbing or anything, and really tight. You see there the lineup. The lineup is not bad. It does definitely, both blades do favor the shield side, but they're not hitting anywhere. So that's pretty good. And I don't know, I'm just really impressed with these knives. I think Frost makes a pretty decent Barlow, and especially the ones that have the square top. They also make ones with the round top. I would, if I'm going to buy a round top Barlow, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Rough Rider Barlows. But I do like the shape of this Barlow. I also like the length of this Barlow's bolster. It's just really good, and it feels really good in the hand. And I don't know, just a really nice knife. Any case, I will let you go and, well, do some slides comparing it to Rough Rider and a couple other Barlows, and talk to you again soon.
Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.